Welcome to Cardano Sense, or back to Cardano Sense. Today we're going to be talking a little more about Voltaire and the Catalyst, I believe it is called. Let me check here real quick. Project Catalyst. So, before we get started, just as usual here, I got my Stake Pool Sophie, S-O-P-H-I, named after my daughter, and also an ADA account there. If you want to support me, you're welcome to support me in one of those two ways. Okay, let's get back here to Voltaire and Project Catalyst. So, talked about Voltaire last time a little bit, right? So we went through an article, and we also went through the paper that was written about Voltaire, or about how they're doing it technically and that kind of stuff. So there was a meeting yesterday. Charles was there, and some other people in charge of the Project Catalyst. The Catalyst is basically the whole voting mechanism. Kind of what we talked about. We talked about more of the technical stuff last time. Today we're just going to kind of talk about the project and how it's going. And it's pretty cool. So first I'm going to hit this video. It's about 20 seconds. It's Charles talking about a couple things here, and we're going to talk about that after we listen to this here. So give us a quick listen.
Because what does ADA holder mean? For example, does it mean you actually own ADA? Okay, that's one type of ADA holder. But what if you're like, a domain expert who's just floating around in the community and doesn't have a lot of ADA, but you also have a lot of specialized knowledge? Or, what if you're a government official who's considering using Cardano protocol for elections or something? There's 100 different constituencies there of participation. People within the system, people outside of the system, people considering to use the system. So this is a question of who should. And then...
Okay, well, we'll stop it there. Okay, so what he's talking about a little bit here is about voting. Remember last time we talked about domain experts, right? So that's kind of what he's talking about here when he talks about experts or government. So you can vote, and these are some things that we've got confirmed. All right. So when you vote, you get basically paid to vote. You get a reward for voting. All right. If you don't want to vote, you don't know who to vote for, you don't really keep up on it, but you still want to kind of have your voice heard, and you trust somebody, somebody who you think is going to look out for what your interests are in Cardano, you can kind of delegate your vote to them, and then they vote for you. So that's an expert, right? Like a domain expert. Another interesting thing, I don't know how I feel about this. Another thing is that you need looks like you need 8,000 ADA in order to vote. If you have under 8,000, you're not going to be able to vote individually, but you can delegate it to an expert. So that's another thing you kind of have to think about. And that was pretty much confirmed. They didn't talk about it during the video, but I did pose that question in kind of the chat feature they had there. And one of the people from the program went ahead and confirmed it. So that's something we talked about last time, I believe. So you need 8,000 to vote. So that's another thing. So if you have less than 8,000 and you kind of want your voice heard, you have to delegate to somebody. You can't just vote straight out. So that's another kind of interesting thing. Other than those couple things, the rest of what we talked about, they didn't get too much into. They didn't talk too much about the technical aspects of it last time. This is more about how they're gonna go through the project. And boy, let me tell you what, they're gonna have a fun time getting through these projects. We're gonna look at that in a second. But before I forget, BigPey, he's another YouTuber. He is that does Cardano stuff. He did a video on this also. I'm going to link it in there, and he's also starting a new channel. He'll probably advertise on his channel. I'm not sure what it's called yet, but essentially he's going to be interviewing people that are doing projects on the Cardano blockchain in the space. His first show I think is coming up tomorrow, and he's interviewing one of the developers for Ergo. If you don't know what Ergo is, just check into it. It's a coin. They're not connected directly with Cardano, but they kind of work together. They have an oracle that Cardano is going to be using. So you should look into Ergo. It's not very popular. You don't hear about it a lot, but it's probably a coin to keep your eye on, especially as Cardano grows. But BigPey, I think that's how you say his name. He's going to be starting to interview people. So I will put his information in my video on the bottom, link to it. Go check out his channel. It's all Cardano stuff too. So if you like my channel, you're probably going to love his channel. Okay, so let's get back into this. So there's periods, right? So last time we talked about the 3 periods: pre-voting period and the post-voting period, all being an epoch long. So there's actually more periods than that. The technical periods look like it's still going to be those 3 periods, right? But there's the way they're going to divvy the projects up. They're going to have a period where you just have like kind of an idea, people talk about it. Then it goes into a full-blown proposal. So let me show you what I'm talking about. It's actually pretty nuts. In 27 hours, it's only been 27 hours, and we have, these are all the projects or ideas, proposals in 27 hours. Now, I'm not going to scroll through all of these because there's 153 proposals in 27 hours, over just a little over 24 hours, and there's 153 proposals. It's absolutely nutty. I can't believe that. I was just talking to someone on Spakra, which is our like a kind of a pool group, a stake pool group. It's crazy. But these now have to be turned into full-blown proposals in the following week after people comment on these ideas. And to do that, they're going to be longer. They're going to be pages long, out of 7, 8 pages. I did 2 proposals. Originally, this was supposed to be done by the 7th of September. So I actually had a couple of proposals done. So I have them done already. So I put a few in, and when the proposal time comes, I'm just going to reorganize the proposal to fit in the way they want it here. But I'm gonna put mine in there. But I was talking, if all 153 of these ideas turn into full blown proposals, it's going to be unbelievable. And how do you sift through these things? We found out for sure that the first fund, it's going to be fund. The first official fund is actually Fund 2. Fund 1 was a private fund. There was no money involved. They were just doing that to try to system out. So the first official fund is Fund 2, which is this one. There's $250,000 in Fund 2. That's the equivalent of the ADA price for Fund 2. It's going to go up from there, but the first fund, it's $250,000. Right now, there's over 150 projects. So we'll see what happens the next couple of days. So let's get into this a little bit. I'm going to show you my 3 projects, so I can kind of show you how this works. Okay, so these are my 3 projects. The first one, my Haskell buddy. This is something that I didn't. This is one of the proposals I didn't actually prepare ahead of time. I just kind of came up with this, and since it was like a one-line idea, I said, what the heck. Now, what this has to do with, they're looking for ways to get people to develop on Cardano, right? And Haskell, we've talked about this, but Haskell is pretty much, Plutus is pretty much Haskell, right? I mean, you have to know Haskell. Actually, you have to know something called template Haskell, which is a little harder than Haskell. Anyway, but you basically have to understand Haskell in order to program Plutus. Haskell currently is number 28 out of 28 when it comes to languages searched for on Google. So to say the Haskell community is a little smaller than other communities kind of be an understatement. So I had this idea called my Haskell buddy. So what this is, basically, I'm saying it would be a good idea if we joined 2 people together, someone who knows Haskell and someone who already knows Solidity. In other words, they're already doing smart contracts. So Plutus is Haskell. Haskell ranks 28th in languages. Buddy Haskell devs with Solidity devs, two times the developers, 2 times the app, 2 times the growth equals a rocket ship. You only have a certain amount of lines, that's why I put it in there, but then you can write a little note here. So essentially what I said was, according to IOHK tutorial, Plutus applications are written as a single Haskell program, which describes both the code that runs off the chain and on the chain. So I said Haskell is the last language on the list of Google languages searched for. We need to increase the programmers with Haskell knowledge. One of the quickest ways would be to increase Haskell developers to teach current blockchain developers. So that was my idea. I put it in yesterday, about an hour in when this first started. So it's doing pretty good, actually. I got a couple comments. People think it's a really good idea. I answered a question. And I got another comment I didn't look at here, but it's doing pretty well. And then when you like an idea, you give it it's called a clap. I've already got 5 claps here. which is very good. 5, the highest is 9. Most of them don't have even 3 claps, so 5 claps is pretty good. Let's take a look at a couple of my other projects here real quick. Okay, so this help small stake pools survive is something that I actually wrote a full-blown proposal for this. And then I had this other one called tip people in ADA. I'm not going to go through this. I'll just tell you what it is. Basically, we're trying to get people to use ADA. So I had an idea to get people to start using ADA. How can we just give people ADA, right? So let's say we have to tip somebody. Tip them in ADA. But if you do that, tip them a little extra. So give them a little extra. So maybe we can get Cardano to fund this, like fund a little extra money. So when you tip somebody, like you go out to dinner, if you're going to give them a $5 tip, give them a $10 tip instead, but give it to them in ADA, right? So they're going to get the extra money. They got to work a little to get it, but when they work to get it, they're going to be using the ADA, the ecosystem. They're going to learn how to do it. And when you tip them, you also give them directions on how to exchange it for fiat currency. So in one sense, it's kind of a pain for them because they got to convert it to fiat. But in another sense, they're getting double the money. They're getting extra, so it kind of gives them an incentive to do this. So I thought that was a decent idea to get people involved in using ADA and Cardano. My other idea here, though, help small stake pools survive. This is one of my full-blown ideas. I'm not going to read through this whole thing, but you can see this basically here is my executive summary and my proposal. Essentially, what I'm saying is, let's do a roadshow. Right, let's do a roadshow, and we'll get out every 2 weeks. Go to different places around the country and the world where these small stake pools are. Get people in, do a show with the small stake pool owners, so people can watch the show on YouTube, get to know these people. Then put up a website. So the issue with people delegating is, let's say you have 10 people that have 200,000 ADA or 300,000 ADA, and they want to delegate to a small pool. They're not going to do it because their $200,000 or 300,000 ADA is not going to make a difference in a pool that's very small. And they're just going to lose money because that pool's not going to create blocks. You need to get a pool, has to have at least maybe 2 million ADA or so to consistently make a block every epoch. So they're not going to do that. So if you have 10 people with 300,000 ADA, they all may want to do this, but they're not because they don't know each other. So my idea was to get a website, right, where people could go on that website and promise to delegate, right? So if you have these 10 people with 300,000 ADA, they could have their ADA right now making money, but they want to help a small pool. So they could all go on this website, promise to delegate. Maybe it takes 2 weeks to get enough people to promise where it's up to 2 million ADA, 2.5 million ADA. When it gets to that point, all those people know that they can now transfer to this small pool. This pool is now going to have 2.5 million ADA. Bam, they're going to be able to mint, average 1 or 2 blocks an epoch. So I thought that was a good idea to kind of get people to invest in these small pools, because it's really hard to get people to do it. And I understand you're trying to make money. You want to help these small pools, but you also want to make money, right? So that's kind of my idea. I will leave the links to all these below so you can get into this and look at it. If you have ADA, definitely look at it. And please give me a clap if you like the ideas. If you don't, still look at it. It's kind of cool. And just the whole system is kind of cool. So this is the platform. It's called Cardano. It's called Idea Scale platform, I think, is what they're using. Let me go back over here real quick. And the cool thing is, and I'm kind of proud of this, if we go over here to top collaborators, I am number 4 with 12 kudos. The highest one is 21. So I'm number 4 out of all these projects. There's 150 projects, and I've got 12 kudos, which means people are clapping. They like my ideas, so that's pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of that. So this is basically. I know this is kind of I was talking kind of fast here. I'm pretty excited about this, but this is what's going on right now with Cardano. So every week there is going to be another video, another meeting with this Catalyst team, and we're gonna progress slowly until everyone figures out how to use this system. But it is officially starting now. There's $250,000 that's going to be dispersed to these ideas, to some of these ideas. This is going to happen every, I think, 6 to 8 weeks. $250,000 is the smallest amount of money they're going to ever give out, or have, or not give out is a better way to put it, but invest in these different projects. So every 2 months, basically, they're going to fund projects. $250,000, right? I mean, that's the least amount they're going to do every 2 months. It's really exciting. And anybody can participate. You don't even have to have ADA to participate. If you have a good idea, you can join the community, put it here. People like your idea. You can you can, I mean, you know, I'm not going to say make money, but I mean, you can. I mean, if you have a good idea, it's going to help the community, people like it, this could be your job. You could come up with a job. You know, you could get paid like on a contract, you know, to have your idea, get a little paid for yourself. And I mean, it's all legal. It's all, I mean, this is what we're trying to do here. We're trying to grow the ecosystem. Where are we about? We're about 15 minutes in. Okay, I'm going to end it here. I don't want this to get too long, but I just wanted to show everybody this. And please go check out BigPey's video and his site. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I probably missed a couple things, but I just wanted to get kind of the overall, give you kind of the overall idea of what's going on. And this is going to change from week to week. So I'll probably do a video about this at least a little bit every week as we progress and as things move forward. One last thing. I'm probably going to end up trying to be a domain expert. I'm going to set up another channel and probably do a video once every voting period. I advertise because I think there's plenty of people out there that are going to want to vote, but maybe they don't have enough data to vote, or they just don't have the time to keep up on this every month or every 2 months. But when that happens, I will talk more about it. So anyway, take a look at this. I'll leave all the relevant links down below. I'm excited to see this go. So I will see you in a couple days. I'll do another video. Have a great day. Goodbye.